Hey folks, welcome. My name is Emily and this is Gently Chaotic Knits, which is mostly a video podcast series about what I have been knitting. Sometimes I do some other making like spinning more recently, or a little bit of like sewing and other crafting. But for the most part, I'm just here to talk about my knitting. I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Nafis and our pup Norman, and you may be able to hear in my voice right now that I have been sick. So bear with me, I'm gonna do my best. I really wanted to make sure to record this week because I have some stuff I've finished and have some stuff I've been working on that I really wanted to share with y'all, and I don't know when I'll get my next opportunity. So I wanted to go ahead and do it today, but hopefully this does not absolutely just ruin my voice. I can talk about this more at the end. It's not that interesting, but I got sick and was actually planning to record earlier this week, but it was just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna take lots of sips of water and do my best, and I hope that my slightly nasally or gunkier voice is not super annoying to you all. But yeah, I'm back. Again, every single time I'm going to say this, I feel like it's been a while, but I'm kind of settling into a pace of like every couple weeks hopping on here and sharing what I've been working on, and I just wanted to do that now. So I'm going to go ahead and just go straight into the knitting. There's been stuff going on with us in just like regular life as well that I can talk more about at the end. Some fun stuff. It was my birthday during this last period and we had visitors and all kinds of fun stuff, but I'm going to start just by talking about what I've been working on and what I've finished in the last few weeks. So first off, you can probably see, because I am wearing it, this is my Tolsta tee that I finished as part of the match along that I am doing with my friend Maya. And we decided to knit, we knit lots of matching things, but we decided for this one to knit the Tolsta tee by Rebecca Clow. I'm not sure if that's how you say her last name, but she is the Crayabea on YouTube and Instagram and everything. And she now has a fingering weight version, but this is the original, which is the DK weight version, or fingering weight held double is what I used, and I think what she did for her original sample as well. What are you looking for? Sorry, Norman is walking around. So this is the heavier weight version, knit at a looser gauge. This is the size 2 that I knit using a US size 7 needle. I'm not sure, I don't remember if that's the needle that it calls for. I kind of think it called for a 7 or an 8, so I may have had to go down 1 needle size. And then I did a US 6 for all the ribbing and everything. And I used, oh, excuse me, my voice. Let me take a sip. I used Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino, which is, again, it's a fingering weight yarn, so I did it held double in the colorways Soft Aqua and Dark Ochre. So I'll kind of stand up, I guess, or I don't know. Sometimes I like kneel here so you can see it a little bit better. This is what it looks like. It's just a really fun basic raglan tee. There are short rows in the back to give it like a nice higher neckline on the back. And then this is kind of the length that I knit mine to. Just perfect to kind of just slightly tuck into my high-waisted pants. And the fabric is really nice. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. It has a really nice drape, but it's lightweight enough because of the cotton. I'm pretty sure, let me see, I don't know if I have a tag here. The cotton merino from Knitting for Olive, I think, is 70% cotton, 30% merino. It's 70-30, and I don't remember which way, but I think it's more cotton than wool. So this is a great like summer fabric, or a great yarn to use for lightweight breathable garments. It is held double, so it's like a little bit heavier because of that, but I don't find it to be like too heavy, so I definitely would recommend this even held double. But I'm also not a person that gets super warm, so I'm generally cold, and so even when it's hot outside, I'm pretty comfortable even if I'm wearing like wool or something. So I'm maybe not the best authority on that. Let's see, is there anything else? I don't think I got gauge, so I don't know exactly, like, and I also haven't measured this. I probably should have measured it. I'm guessing I have somewhere around like 2 to 4 inches of positive ease. Like, I don't have a ton of positive ease, maybe 4 inches positive ease-ish. So yeah, I don't have a ton, but I think it's a really nice kind of relaxed fit. Let me see. I was a little bit worried, so I actually made the raglan a tiny bit shorter than called for because of where I was in my stripe sequence. I didn't want to like start a stripe and then split the stripe in the raglan, so I just went ahead and split before my next stripe. And I think it worked out fine, but at first I was a little nervous that the raglan was a little bit high up, kind of like in my armpit, and it was making like weird kind of folding fabric in the armpit area. But I actually think it's okay, and I think after blocking and everything and wearing it a little bit, it is nice and relaxed. The neck in the front is actually a little bit higher than I expected it to be. I did expect it to kind of like sit a little bit lower, but I'm not unhappy about that either. I think that this is fine. So anyway, yeah, I'm really happy with it. My friend Maya finished hers as well, and she did the reverse colors of me, and we wore them together on Saturday at La Mercerie, and it was so much fun. It was really cute. And sorry, I have like hair all on my arms. It was really fun to wear like the opposite colors, and yeah, so I have seen lots of other people making the Tolsta as well for the match along, and I've loved seeing everyone's Tolstas and also everyone's projects that they are matching with a friend. In case you missed it, you definitely still have time to join in if you want to, and Maya and I are actually planning other projects as part of the match along as well. But the essential idea is just make something along with someone else. So you can use the same yarn, or you can make the same pattern, or whatever feels like you're making along together that, like, you know, it's super casual. You can do whatever and it will count. But yeah, you can go, there's a hashtag on Instagram, so you can go and see like all people's projects. They are so sweet and fun, and stay tuned because Maya and I have some more matching plans. If you want to match us, then I would say go for it as well. So that is my first finished object, the Tolsta tee. And then I have another finished object that is actually finished as of today, and it's really cute, and I can't wait to show you all. I guess it's not completely finished because I haven't sewn the buttons on, but this is Moosh. So I shared about this in my last episode. I am knitting Mouche, or I knit Mouche for a friend of mine that is having a baby like very soon. And Mouche was in progress when I last showed you, so I finished Mouche, and then I also knit his little dungarees. So here he is. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. Okay, and the back is the cutest part because I love the way that the overalls look in the back, but also there's a little hole for his tail. How cute is that? Oh my gosh. So here he is. This was the most fun thing to knit. I can't even tell you. I had so much fun knitting this. I could not put it down. Well, I don't know. I guess that's not true. I did put it down somewhat because I was waiting on some pieces. But anyway, it was really, really fun. Really fun to knit. The dungarees knit up so quickly. I actually started those, I guess, 2 days ago, and I finished them yesterday. So it took me like less than 2 days to knit the dungarees. I didn't mess up, but if I were gonna do this again, I would. So the pattern calls to knit Moosh on a US size 0 needle and the dungarees on a US size 2 needle. And I knit Mouche on a 0, but for some reason I was like, I'm a loose knitter. I need to go down half a needle size for the dungarees. So I knit the dungarees on a US size 1.5. What I should have realized is like, I knit Mouche on the needle that was called for. So I should knit the dungarees on the needle that's called for, because Mouche was like bigger. Because I have a loose gauge, I think Mouche is like bigger than intended, which is fine. Like, who cares? He's maybe like half an inch taller than he otherwise would have been, or something, like an inch tall. It's not a big deal for him to be a little bit bigger, but I should have stuck with that for the dungarees and just done the dungarees on a US size 2 needle as called for, because the dungarees are a little bit tight, and it's actually, especially my row gauge, I feel like his tail hole in his dungarees is not quite in the right spot. And that's partially because I think my row gauge was really tight. And I ended up like adding extra rows into the straps so that I knew that they would come all the way over. And I also, when I blocked the dungarees, I pinned them out and like really stretched them because I wanted to make sure that they fit. And I think they do pretty well, but if I did it again, I would just do the dungarees on a US size 2 needle. That would have been smart of me to do that, but I was just like, I have this 1.5 needle here and I'm a loose knitter, so that will work out. But it was not the best choice. However, I still feel like it turned out really cute, and you're still able to get his little tail through his little dungaree hole. And it's just so cute. So let me tell you about the yarn I used. I used for Moosh. Both of these were just like leftovers that I had in my stash, which I love. So like Mouche, I think takes, I don't even remember. Oh, also I should have said this. Mouche is from the book Mouche and Friends by Cinthia Vallet. It's a Lane publication. So here's what the book looks like. And let me tell you about yardage. Yeah, Moosh used, they call for 40 grams. I didn't weigh him, so I don't know how much yarn I actually used, but like less than half a skein of fingering weight yarn. And then the dungarees, I think, was like 20 grams. I don't remember exactly how much. I can see what it says. Sorry. Yeah, the dungarees are 25 grams. So like a quarter of a skein. So I just used leftovers. So yeah, for Mouche, I used Ampersand fibers, Caslon fingering in the colorway Grisaille 01. And then the dungarees, I used some yarn I had left over. I knit a pair of socks for my sister in this yarn, and I had some left over, and I thought it was just beautiful. But this is from the Red Pansy. It is from their Monet Impressionism Club. This was January of that club, like 2 years ago. The colorway, I believe, is based on the painting Houses of Parliament. Is that right? Yeah. By Claude Monet. And it's beautiful. I just can't get over the back. Like the way the straps are and the little tail. It's so precious. So I stuffed him today. I have not seamed him up. Okay, this pattern was incredible. If you're considering knitting like a little stuffy or a little toy, I cannot recommend Cinthia Vallet patterns enough. This is absolutely the way to go. So I am not a person who loves seaming. I don't know who is a person who loves seaming, but what I love about this pattern is very little seaming involved. You start right at the nose, and then you just do kind of increases and some short rows and stuff for the head. And then that's kind of how the whole pattern goes. You just kind of grow from there. And then, like, if you think about it, the body of the bear is very similar to the construction of a sweater. So it's basically a circular yoke sweater where you're doing your increases, and then you put the sleeves on hold, and then you go knit the sleeves kind of, or the arms. Instead of binding off here, you just like go all the way and do decreases and like graft the ends for the arms. And then the bum was very much like the heel of a sock. And the legs and the feet, like the feet were very much like little tiny socks. So it's essentially like it's a lot of the same techniques that you would use in knitting other things, in garment knitting or in sock knitting. It's just smaller. So I found it to be really engaging. I thought it was going to be annoying and fiddly. It, you know, I mean, it's small, and so it is a little bit fiddly, but it was not bad at all. But basically all that's left is there's this opening right here in the crotch, and that's where you stuff him. So I stuffed him just with like polyfill, and then I left it. I haven't seamed him up yet because I wanted to leave him like this for a while to see if I wanted to add more stuffing. So just kind of like handle him a little bit and see, like, do I think that he's too soft? Do I want to make him a little firmer? And then once I'm happy with it, I will just seam up his last. That's it. Like, you just that's all you have to seam in the entire thing. I probably shouldn't do like a close-up of the bear's crotch, but that's what it looks like. So yeah, it was so easy. I already am like, I want to make more of these. I have on my short list, I really want to make the pig, so cute, and the raccoon. I love them and I want to make them so badly. So maybe for some other little beans in my life, I will make some more of these, but could not recommend this book enough. The pattern's so well written. Everything about this I highly recommend. And yeah, it was just such a fun and engaging knit. So, and now it's done. Now I just have to, yeah, I just have to sew on the little buttons and then wait for baby to come and then give Moosh to baby. So that is very exciting, and that is my only other completely finished object. I do have a half finished object that I want to share with you, and I am so excited about it. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably already know about this. I finally knit with my Handspun. I finally cast something on, and I'm knitting with my Handspun, and I am so in love with it. It is just the most incredible feeling. But anyway, I decided to go ahead and cast on, I think I'd been talking about this, I wanted to cast on a sock in my gorgeous yellow Handspun. So a reminder about this yarn, I spun this on my Ladybug. Oh my gosh, y'all. Look at that cake. It's so good. Oh my gosh. Wow. So this is what the yarn looks like. And I spun this yarn myself. The fiber is, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but I think Cheviot, Cheviot, from Hello Yarn. So it's hand-dyed fiber. The colorway for the fiber is Seagrass, I think, or Seaglass. I don't remember. I kind of think Seagrass. And I spun this as a fractal 3-ply. And I did end up getting about a fingering weight. It is, actually, you know what? I'm wondering, I don't think I was even done spinning this on my last podcast episode. I think I was still working on spinning it. So maybe I should talk more about this yarn, but I will talk about it anyway. Yeah, so I got the fiber from Hello Yarn. I spun a 3-ply, and I still have a little bit of the singles left. I think I can show you what the singles look like. The singles are so thin because I was going for a 3-ply. I needed the singles to be so thin because I wanted a 3-ply fingering weight yarn, and I actually think I achieved that. So this is what the singles look like. Little tiny thin, like almost spider webby, like tiny singles. And then I applied them together to make this yarn. It is definitely on the rougher, like pricklier side, like kind of scratchier side. Even more so before I washed the yarn. But I think it's okay because I'm using it for socks. I think that one of my friends actually asked me if I thought it was kind of scratchy because of the fiber or because of the way I spun it. And I think the answer is both. I think Cheviot is not like a fine wool. The micron count is quite low, so it's actually pretty the micron count is high. Is that what I mean? No, I think if it's a higher number, it's softer, right? I don't remember. Whichever way it goes, this is like just as a wool breed, as a sheep breed, this is on the rougher side to begin with. And then I also think that, especially when I was plying it, I wanted a really strong yarn. I wanted it to be so strong for socks that I put a lot of twist in it. And so I think the thin plies and the amount of twist that I put in it resulted in it just not having a ton of softness. And I'm okay with that because the most important thing to me was to get it nice and thin for socks and also to get it nice and strong for socks. And I think I achieved both of those things, but that may have been at like kind of a trade-off with the softness. So I'm spinning for another project now, and I'm spinning it thicker, and I am using a different fiber, and I think I'm gonna get something that's much softer, and so I'm looking forward to that just to see like the difference there, I guess. Spinning is still very much almost, I want to say, like an intellectual exercise for me at this point because I'm learning so much more each time I do it, and I think that I'm almost like I'm just like experimenting. I'm doing different things and changing things and seeing what happens. So this time I spun it pretty finely and I put a lot of twist in it, especially when I was plying, and I think it resulted in like a rougher yarn, but I'm okay with that. So anyway, this is the yarn that I spun, and I had, I think, over 500 yards, but I also had more than 4 ounces of fiber. I got a mystery pack from Hello Yarn as well, and there was some fiber in the mystery pack that I was pretty sure was the same fiber as my Cheviot that I was going to spin for socks, and the color was really similar too, so I just pulled that over and spun it all together. So I had closer to 6 ounces actually, I think. Sorry, I need to take a sip of water. Yeah, so the skein that I spun was closer to like 1.5 skeins. It was like 145 grams. And I had almost 550 yards, I think. So definitely a fingering weight yarn. And you can tell based on how fine it is as well. So here, I'll put this down, but I don't know how well you'll be able to see that. But it's like, it's pretty fine. I mean, it's thick and thin, so there's like thinner parts and thicker parts, but it's a pretty thin yarn. And it's a 3-ply, so I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I was able to spin my singles thin enough to make a fingering weight 3-ply. But anyway, I feel like I'm really, excuse me. I feel like I'm really, like taunting you all because I haven't shown you the sock yet. So here it is. I'm gonna go ahead and put on a blocker so you can actually see it because it's a fully ribbed sock. And so that means that it is really bunched up and it doesn't really look like a sock. So I brought a blocker so that I can show you on the blocker, but this is what it looks like. Oh my gosh, look at it. I love it. I love how it turned out. I think you can definitely see the fractal kind of more in this part. I actually ran out of one of my bobbins pretty quickly, and then I used 2 strands from one bobbin and 1 strand from the other to like finish up the last amount of singles that I had, and so that's this part. So I think it's partially like there's bigger blocks of the same color here because it came from the same bobbin, I guess, if that makes sense. Like 2 of the plies came from the same bobbin. So I think that's why there's like longer blocks of one color. So I think this is more representative of the fractal spin that I did, and also I think this is more what the other sock will look like, but I'm not mad about this like blue toe. I think it's cute, and I think one of the fun parts about doing handspun socks or like handspun anything is, you know, seeing how it's gonna knit up and it being kind of somewhat unpredictable, I guess. And I'm gonna have 2 socks and they're not gonna match, and that's the point. It's like I mean, it's not the point, but I'm fine with it. Like, I don't need for them to match, but this one is just gonna have a blue toe, and I don't think the other one is. Like, I don't think there's any other big blue sections, so this one just has a blue toe. But I love it. I love the colors. I love how it turned out. The fit of this sock is amazing as well. I used the DRK Everyday Sock pattern. I know I was really inspired by Andrea's use of her handspun in so many of her knits. The pattern's by Andrea Mowry, and I have, I don't know, I had this like itch to use my handspun for that sock pattern as well. I had never knit that sock pattern before, and so I wanted to give it a try. It's a toe up pattern, which I normally do cuff down, but I wanted to go ahead and try it, so I did magic loop and I did toe up. And I liked it way more than I thought I would. I normally do cuff down and I do 9-inch circulars, and I'm wondering if I'm becoming converted. I've been knitting magic loop more often. Like, I did magic loop for Mouche and the dungarees as well, and I like it more than I thought I did. So I think still for like sweater sleeves and stuff, I'm probably gonna stick with doing the small circulars, but for socks, I maybe will do magic loop. Maybe not every time, but sometimes I might be converted to doing magic loop. I don't know, but I really enjoyed the process of knitting this. I have not yet cast on the second one. I told myself, actually, I cast this sock on my birthday, which was a couple weeks ago. And I really wanted, I don't know, I wanted to be indulgent. I wanted to cast on my handspun on my birthday. And it was kind of an emotional thing for me, just casting on with this yarn that I made myself with my hands. And I don't know, I wanted to do that on my birthday because I just felt like it and I wanted to. But I told myself once I finished one sock, then I would go back and I would knit the dungarees for Moosh. So I actually finished knitting Moosh. I was like, I need to knit Moosh before I knit the handspun socks. So I finished Moosh on the day before my birthday, and then I was like, oh, I need to knit his dungarees as well. I guess I'll do that first and then I'll cast on the sock. And then I was like, no, it's my birthday, I want to cast on the sock. So I cast on the sock, and then I finished the first sock, and then I went back and I knit the dungarees, and now since I finished the dungarees yesterday, I will cast on the second sock probably today or tomorrow. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I do really love it. The pattern was so much fun and the fit is really good as well. It is definitely scratchy, but again, it's on my feet, so I'm not as worried about it. Let me see if there's anything else. I did knit this on a US size 0 needle, and I think, oh, the size. I knit a women's small, which is, I think, 52 stitches around. So maybe that's part of why this sock fits really well, is because I normally knit 56 stitch socks and they're a little big. I know, my gauge is so loose. But yeah, this worked out to fit well. I have not blocked it yet. I'll wait until the second sock is done and then I'll wash them together. And then it's still gonna be summer, but I'm gonna have to wear them because I'm so excited about them. But hopefully they'll get lots of wear in the fall and the winter. But yeah, that is my half-finished object. And then I really only have one work in progress to share. So I have been in finishing mode, I feel like. I finished Tolsta, and then like a day or two later I finished Moosh, and then I cast on the sock, and then I finished the sock like a week later, and then I finished these dungarees in like 2 days. I don't know, I'm like cruising through things. I'm really on a finishing kick, I feel like. And next thing up for me to finish is this sweater. So a much larger project than the other ones. It takes a lot more time and effort to finish this than a sock or a little toy, but I'm almost there. So this is the dad sweater pattern, which is a pattern by me. I am knitting this sweater for my husband, and I am using Rerum Natura in the colorway Gilliatt, which, no. Rerum Natura Gilliatt in the colorway Fusain. That was silly. I almost just like went straight through that without catching it. Here is what the color looks like. It is a dark charcoal gray with that kind of like heathered quality to it. Really beautiful. I am knitting the size 1 broad shoulder, but again, I think I've talked about this on every single episode forever, but my gauge is off because this is a heavier yarn than the yarn the pattern calls for. So I am actually knitting the I am knitting the broad shoulder size 1, but the final measurements will be much closer to the broad shoulder size 2, just because my gauge is off actually in the perfect amount. So last time I showed this to you, I believe I was almost done knitting the body of the sweater, and I have finished the body, did the ribbing, I did the tubular bind off, it is all done, and then I picked up, I kind of left it there for a while, and I was focusing on Tolsta and finishing Tolsta, and then Moosh and everything, and the sock. But then in the last couple days, I picked this sleeve back up, and, well, I picked it up in the first place, and I've been working on the sleeve, and this is, I don't know how many days of work. Definitely this is not a 1-day sleeve. Part of it is because I have not given it a full day's of work. I will work on it for a while and be like, I want to work on something else. So I haven't dedicated myself to it, but I'm like halfway done with the sleeve, I would say. I know it doesn't look like that lengthwise, but I did all the short rows, and it gets skinnier as you go, you know, so I'm closer than you think. So I'm maybe halfway done with this sleeve. I did do a slight modification. I took about 1 inch out of the armhole depth for this sweater, and because of that, I also picked up fewer stitches around the armhole, just so that it's a little bit less deep and less fabric around the armholes. Just because I believe that is the preference of the person that I am making it for, and I also want to wear this partially, like I want to wear it myself sometimes, and the standard sizing has less deep armholes than the broad shoulder. So basically the women's size chart version of the pattern has a shallower armhole than the men's size chart version, and so I brought the armholes up a little bit so that it wouldn't be way too deep on me, and also because I think that matches my husband's preferences better as well. So I'm making that modification, and then I'm doing a little bit more of a standard sleeve decrease rather than the more dramatic sleeve of the pattern as well. So this is like a pretty heavily modified version. But I'm really happy with how it's turning out. I think this color is going to be great. I love this color. And I think that Nafis will love this color. I know that he's seen it. It's not a surprise. So I know that he likes this color too. And yeah, I'm ready to just cruise through it. So right now, this is actually all I have on the needles because I have not picked up my second sock yet. I haven't cast on my second sock. So this is pretty much all I'm working on. I have another sock pattern that I have not touched in weeks. So this is pretty much it. I want to cast on other things. And so yeah, this is my last work in progress. I'm going to talk about my only work in progress. I really want to cast on other things, but the things I'm itching to cast on right now are like summer knits. Like I have more tanks and tees that I really want to knit. And I think that timing wise, based on what I have planned to knit for the rest of the year, I just don't think I have the time. So I may be done knitting tees and tanks this year. I really was wanting to cast on that mini mock neck, and I know it's such a short project. I'm like, can I squeeze it in maybe? But I have other stuff that I really need to set myself up for in the fall, for my fall knitting. So I think this may be the end of my summer knitting. I may be done. Tolsta may be my last one. But I was thinking back, I've actually done a lot. I did a lot of summer knitting this year. I did, I think, well, let me look. I have a list. I keep a list of all my finished garments that I've knit. So let me consult the list. So far this year, I have finished 10 garments. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them were teaser tanks. So that feels pretty good. I knit 2 color tip tees. I knit Vellicore, I knit the Totally Tank, I knit Strata, and I knit Tolsta. So that's 6. So as much as I don't know, like as much as I want to knit more tees and tanks, it kind of feels like 6 in 1 year is plenty, and I should probably start getting myself set up for fall knitting, but I don't know, maybe, I mean, in the end I should knit whatever I want, but yeah, I think it might be time to close the book on summer knitting for this year, but I have so many projects I really want to make, and I'm just gonna have to plan them for next year or the year after that. I don't know. I'm already like, I think I've already booked myself full for summer knitting next year as well. I mean, I have so much yarn and I have so many plans that I've booked myself for years to come, but yeah, I think after I finish this one, I am probably gonna cast on and start knitting my sister's dad sweater, and that will be the final one for now of the dad sweater for my family series. If you are new and you haven't heard me talk about this before, again, dad sweater is a pattern by me that was inspired by these sweaters my dad wore. And I knit one, of course, for myself and for my dad. Those were my first 2. But then I decided I wanted to knit them for the rest of my immediate family. So I have already finished and given the ones for my mom, my brother to them already. And then I'm knitting this one for my husband. And then I have one left for my sister. And there may be some other ones for other people in my life in the works at a later point, but for now I'm gonna stop it there and just call it good at that many dad sweaters knit for other people. The good news is I really do enjoy knitting this pattern. I think it's an enjoyable pattern to knit like 6 times, so I'm not tired of it yet. I think it's fun and engaging, but also like not too engaging, so I like it for that. And I'm also ready to knit other things as well, but just this one and then one more left, and then I'll probably be taking a dad sweater break and be done with dad sweaters for a while, which I do have some more planned for myself. I have yarn for some others that I want to make for myself, at least 1 or 2, maybe more. I guess I could pick a different pattern, but I mean, I don't know. It's probably boring for you all that you're just like, okay, let me tune in to see what Emily's working on. Oh, the same pattern again, over and over. But I promise I have other stuff planned for knitting in the fall, and hopefully that's not too boring. But anyway, that's pretty much it as far as what I've been working on. Hopefully next time I record this sweater will be done, and the next dad sweater will be on the needles. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for knitting stuff. I have some acquisitions that I want to share with you as well. I talked a little bit about this last time. I actually had already received the yarn, but I couldn't show it to you because I hadn't opened the package yet. So I ordered from Explore Knits, why am I blanking? National Park pre-order. and it arrived a while ago, but I was waiting to open it with my friend, and I have opened it, and here it is, and I can't wait to show you. So I got this. Oh my gosh. Okay, I feel like the color is not showing up properly, but I don't know. Maybe this is as good as I will get. But here it is. This is Pollen from Explore Knits I said that weird, from Explore Knits in their new Boucle DK base, which is so fun. Okay, actually a little closer, the color looks a little better. This is more accurate, I think. But it is definitely like a greenish yellow. It's definitely on the greener side of yellow, but a really beautiful like golden color. There's like fluff on this from something. But yeah, it's really pretty. And I am not sure exactly what I'm gonna make with this. My friend Maya also ordered some of this yarn in a different colorway, and so we're thinking about doing another matching knit, but we're not quite sure what pattern to go with. So some more thinking to be done there, but yeah, how stunning is that? So, and it's so much fun, and I definitely have been on a yellow kick recently. Y'all may remember from my last episode, I had a beautiful golden sweater quantity to share. And then I also, I think the episode before that, I had a yellow sweater quantity that I acquired. Here, let me show you. I posted on Instagram with all my yellow yarns that I have recently acquired. Let me see, I think I have them all here. If I can grab it from under the table. Is this it? Ah! Sorry. Yeah, so these 4 are all pretty recent acquisitions, and they're all just like gold. Different shades of yellow gold. So all I have planned for garments of some kind. This one I have 5 skeins of fingering weight, so I'm thinking about doing maybe a long sleeve color tip tee with this one. This one, I want to make a cabled tee by Sorry Nordland. This one, I want to make a cardigan. And this one, probably some kind of pullover, but I don't have a pattern picked yet for it. So 4 yellow garments are coming my way. I feel like I do this. I get in like color zones, like I get obsessed with a color, so I feel like I've definitely done my blue period that is well documented. I had a pretty extensive blue period earlier this year with lots of dark teal and blue. I also have 2 works in progress that I shared about on Instagram as well that are both red, like almost the same color of red. And these are, in case you didn't watch or don't remember, this is the Aurelia pullover by Sorry Nordland, and this is the Hour pullover by Sorry Nordland. This is a Sorry Nordland fan account, by the way, in case you didn't know. This one is Brick from the Autumn in New York Sorella collection on Cashmere DK. I actually had a freak out this morning that I only bought 4 skeins of this, and I did some yardage math, and I don't know how I thought that that would be enough, and I definitely think I need a 5th, and this was like a pre-order collection, so I can't just go and buy more of this yarn. So I actually posted on my Instagram stories this morning, and I think that one of my friends has more that they are willing to part with for me to be able to finish this sweater. So this one I have, and then yeah, the yarn for this one is 2 yarns held together actually. It's Sport Weight Life in the Long Grass. I think the colorway is like Barn, maybe. And then the fluff is Surrey from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. Oh Dang is the name of the base. And it's in the Pretty Shield colorway. Here's what the fabric looks like, in case you're interested. Anyway, I didn't mean to go into these in detail. I only have them here because I was doing some yardage math for this one. And here I'll give you all a close-up of this one too. And also, I was talking about, sorry, I got distracted. I was talking about my red period. So I was obsessed with this kind of like rusty red color, brick red color. This is what the skein looks like. Definitely had that on my mind. So I bought a lot of red. I also, oh, I have more acquisitions I completely forgot about. I bought more yarn. I thought that I didn't, but I did. Let me grab it. Speaking of my red era, I should have, I don't know why, I think because I had committed during this time period before Flock to not buy any more yarn. And so I was like, okay, I have this pre-order yarn to show you all, but I don't have any others because I decided I wasn't gonna buy any more yarn, but I totally broke that and I bought more yarn because how could I not after you just saw those? Now look at this. It's basically my red obsession. This one's maybe a little bit lighter and like pinker and less red, like less dark red. Still obsessed with it, love it. This color, gorgeous. This is from Stress Knits. Stacy did a Taylor Swift collection, and so she did a tonal colorway for each album, and this is the colorway for red. I think I was talking about this actually at the end of my last podcast episode. I think I was talking about how I wanted to go buy this yarn. And so I had to stop podcasting so that I could go buy the yarn. Well, I did stop podcasting and I did buy the yarn. I was successful in getting it. So I have it here. Love this. I definitely want to do like a tiara tank for this, but again, that may not happen this year. Although when this arrived, it was so hard for me not to just immediately cast on. I'm obsessed with this color. I love it so much. I'm thinking maybe a mini mock neck or maybe a color tip tee and pair it with like a creamy pink for all the edgings, I think would be really cute. So I'm considering that as well. So that's another acquisition. That definitely fits in my red period. And then I had my blue period earlier. And then now I guess I'm having my yellow period. I'm primary colors, I guess. I'm red, yellow, and blue. Like teal blue though. I think like a greenish blue is definitely more me. And then, yeah, like an orangey red. And then yellow, it's interesting because I feel like I often, for a while, I was really drawn to like more orangey yellows, like this one. But then more recently, I knit the, like my Totally Tank from, by Jessie May. I knit out of Yellow Brick Road, which is this yarn from La Bien Aimée, and this is definitely on the greener side of yellow, and Pollen is definitely like a greener yellow, but this one from Sorella I think is an orangier yellow. This one I think is more of like a greener one. So I don't know, I think I thought that I was more team orange yellows, but I've also been more into the greener yellows recently. I think that the real answer is that you'd be hard-pressed to find a yellow that I don't like. I kind of like them all. I like the green ones and I like the orange ones. And I think that it would be, part of me is like, the part of me that wants to have a really beautiful, minimal wardrobe with a beautiful cohesive palette, you know, like the idea of a capsule wardrobe where everything goes together. That part of me is like, Emily, you need to pick one. Like you need to decide, are you an orange yellow person or are you a green yellow person? And I don't know. There's another part of me that's like, I like them all. I like every yellow. And maybe there are times where an orange yellow is better. Maybe there are days when I feel more orange yellow and there are days when I feel more green yellow. I don't know. But anyway, the point is I'm all in on yellow. I also have another acquisition. This was not the only thing I got from the Explorer Knits pre-order. I did get a skein of Bryce Canyon on Denali sock, which is just stunning. Like, this looks like watercolors. It's gorgeous. And having been to Bryce Canyon myself, like, it's absolutely, the inspiration is beautiful. It's perfect. The color is stunning. I love it so much. in love with this skein of yarn, but also I bought it to go with some other skeins of Explorer Knits that I have because I want to use them together in a fade for a shawl. And so let me show you. I got, this is Morning Ritual from the Seattle collection that Explorer Knits did with La Mercerie. And then I got, this is an old one. You can tell it's got the old label and everything. This is the Wild Within from their Into the Wild collection. And then I have Bryce Canyon, which is the one I just got. And then also at the La Mercerie pop-up was Grand Canyon. So I have these four together that I think will make a really beautiful fade. So it's kind of on the pinker, peachier side, but then like on the, goes into more vibrant like blues and stuff over here. So yeah, I don't know. I don't knit that much with variegated yarns anymore, honestly, especially for garments. But for like socks and shawls, I'm into it. And Explorer Knits variegated yarns are so stunning. Like the way that she dyes variegated, it's just so beautiful that I wanted to have some of these really special skeins to use together for this project, for a project. So I, yeah, slowly was accumulating one at a time, and now I have them all to go together. So I can't wait to see how they kind of like fade together, and I think it'll be fun. Again, I have no idea when I will knit this. I don't know. I don't know. I really need to get my knitting plans nailed down. But ooh, I had some life stuff that I was going to talk about, but I may need to cut this shorter because my throat is starting to get to me from talking for so long. And okay, I'm back and I'm trying again. We'll see. It's hard to tell if this is going to work because during my break I wasn't talking, so I don't know if I'm actually better or not, but let's try to at least get through this. So the Tour de Fleece is a yearly kind of spinning community event where the spinning community comes together and there are teams and it's this whole thing, and I honestly should know more about it and its origins, but the idea is essentially you're just spinning along with the Tour de France. So I had really kind of casual goals for myself this year. The only real goal that I had was to try to spin at least a little bit, even if it's just 5 minutes, every day of the Tour de France. I have already broken that. I got sick and that just like did not happen. We had visitors and it didn't happen. But I have been doing my best. So I am spinning for a new project. I'm spinning some Rambouillet cream fiber. Let me see, I've got a little bit of it here. This is my last bit that I need to spin onto my first bobbin. This is how close I am to being done with my first bobbin. I need to just do it. Maybe today I will do it. So I'm doing just this cream, 2-ply, roughly like a sport weight for the main color. Oh, I didn't say what I'm spinning for. I'm trying to spin yarn for the Cinnabar shawl by Andrea Mowry. So that takes one main color and one contrast color. And I am doing this cream for the main color. This is Rambouillet. It's my first time ever spinning with Rambouillet, and I love it. It feels so good. It's so soft, but it's not like too slippery. It feels really good in my hands. It's a little warm. I mean, wool just is warm, I think. So I like sometimes, since it's been hot here in Seattle, I've been getting sweaty when I'm spinning. Sorry, maybe this is like gross or weird, but I've been getting like sweaty and the wool is like kind of sticking to my hands and it's hard for me to spin, so that has been a little bit tricky. But overall, I'm really happy with how it's going. I should have pulled my bobbin off. Should I do that? Okay, wait a second and I'll get my bobbin. Okay, I'm back. I left it on the flyer because I didn't want to take it off, and you can see my little piggies on here. Maybe let me purposely put it to a nicer spot. So this is what my bobbin looks like right now. These are my singles, and this is the cream Rambouillet. So I just need to do this last bit and then this bobbin will be done, and then I have a second bobbin. So I split my fiber in half. So I'm just gonna do half of it onto one bobbin, the other half on another bobbin, and then ply them together. So just a simple 2-ply. I'm hoping I have enough yarn for that. I think I'm gonna be a little tight, but since it's a shawl, I figure it's okay. Like I'll just go for however much fiber I have, and if it's like or however much yarn I have, and if it's like a little bit smaller than I wanted, maybe it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay, but I'm also spinning a little bit thinner than at a lot of parts than I wanted to, just because I'm used to spinning so thin for the sock yarn. I was spinning really thin, so it's taking me a little bit to get back into the rhythm of spinning thicker. So I think it's okay if I do a little bit, if I am a little short on yarn, but I'm not even sure if I will. My yarn may be thinner than I was planning, and so I may be fine. So anyway, I'm doing that, and then the contrast color, I'm using some random bits from this mystery pack that I got from Hello Yarn as well. This was the one, my friend Maya and I actually got 2 packs, and then we did some like mix and match, and so I really love the bits that I have, and I can't wait to see how they're going to spin up because it's definitely more colorful than anything I've ever spun before. So I'm really curious how it all kind of blends together. But yeah, as soon as I finish, I want to do the cream first, and then as soon as I finish that, I'll get started on my contrast color. And I don't know what type of fiber it is because it came from a mystery pack, and there are like different bits that are actually different fiber types, so I don't actually know what type of fiber it is, but it'll be fun to get to try. I mean, that's the bummer about it, is like I'm gonna get to try different fiber types, but I won't know what I'm trying. But it's probably good for like upping my spinning skill to like practice spinning with different fiber types, even if I don't know what they are. So that's where my spinning is at. I haven't spun in the last like 3 or 4 days because I've been sick and I haven't felt like doing a lot. I mean, I guess I've done some knitting during that time, but I don't know, spinning feels like it takes more energy for me, so I haven't been doing that. But what I have been doing is watching the Tour de France. So I had never watched this before, but I would say that I have an obsessive personality. I mean, I'm clearly obsessed with knitting. But I think I have a tendency to, like, I think that the biggest part is there's no, like, partway in for me. I don't ever just, like, dip my toe into something. It's either, like, no, I'm not interested in this, or absolutely, I want to know everything about it. And so I didn't really know anything about the Tour de France, but I just was like, oh, it's the Tour de Fleece. Like, this is fun. Maybe I should put it on while I'm spinning. And my family were visiting. My dad and my grandparents were here for the MLB All-Star game, which I can talk about a little bit more in a second. But I just wanted to kind of have something in the background while we were like cooking and around the house and whatever. And so I put it on, and there was a lot of terminology that I didn't understand. This wasn't something I'd watched before. I know a little bit about cycling because I did actually have an obsessive period a year or 2 ago where I got obsessed with triathlons. I don't remember if I ever talked about that on the podcast, but there was a time period where I was just watching triathlons. I don't know why I do this, but I just get like obsessed with these things. So I knew a little bit, but with just like this type of biking, separate from the triathlon, there's just like a lot more like with the team component. There's a lot of terminology and like the different colored jerseys and all this stuff was so new to me. And so I just kind of put it on casually and I was like, I don't need to become obsessed with this. Like I can just kind of put this on. And then my curiosity just like really gets me. So they're like using this terminology and I'm like, what does this mean? What does this mean? And so then I started like Googling it all, and then my dad was here with me, and I think he also has this. I know he has this. My dad definitely has like this obsessive personality thing, and that is where I got it from, I think. And so both of us were kind of like feeding off of each other, and so we both kind of like just kept reading about it and watching it and talking about it, and then we became obsessed. So I didn't actually start watching the Tour de France until maybe I think it was like July 9th or 10th. It started on July 1st. And I decided to start from the beginning because, like, who cares? I just kind of start from the beginning. I put on the first stage. And I am now almost completely caught up, and I've watched all the stages completely. So I just finished this morning watching stage 13, and I think today they are racing stage 17. So I'm not all the way caught up yet, but I got sick, and I have just been at home a lot, and so I've just been watching multiple Tour de France stages every day, and I'm completely obsessed. And I have people that I'm rooting for, and I have, like, I know all their names, and I know, like, all the rivalries and the drama and everything, and I've just become a little bicycling obsessed person. So anyway, if anyone else is obsessed with the Tour de France, please comment or message me because I want to talk about it. I annoyed my family group text yesterday, I think, so much because I just, like, would not stop talking about it. And my sister was so sweet, and she, like, was watching along with me. We, like, started it at the same time so that we were watching the race at the same time. We were watching stage 12 yesterday. So we were, like, watching along together, and she's, like, texting me about it, which was really sweet. But anyone who wants to talk about the Tour de France, I have become obsessed. Which is funny because this started because it was like the Tour de Fleece, but then I completely stopped spinning and now I'm just watching bicycling. But that's okay, that happens. And, like, at first I was kind of disappointed with myself that I didn't stick to my goal of wanting to spin every day, but, you know, you can never predict what's gonna happen. Like, I got sick and that was part of it, and, you know, I'm not gonna force myself to spin when I don't feel well. So I'm hoping I can get back into it a little bit, and I would love it if I could finish my main color by the end of the tour. That seems ambitious because it's like 4 days from now, so maybe I won't even say that because that's crazy and that's not going to happen. Maybe if I could at least, at the bare minimum, I need to finish this first bobbin before the end of the tour. That, like, this needs to get spun today. So hopefully I can at least do that. But anyway, Tour de France, Tour de Fleece, that's been one thing that's been going on. I also mentioned, that my family came into town. So my dad and my grandparents came for the MLB All-Star Game, which was actually in Seattle this year over, like, right around my birthday. So my family got to come, and they were here to celebrate my birthday with me, but also for the All-Star Game. So it's actually more than just, like, one game. It's a series of events over, like, a couple of days. And so we went to 3 different events at the ballpark. We went to, one day was the Futures game and the Celebrity Softball game. And then one day was the Home Run Derby, and then one day was the All-Star Game. So we went to all 3 of those events, and it was so much fun. It was so cool that we got to go here in Seattle. And the weather was great. The atmosphere was incredible. There were so many Mariners fans there, and we just had the best time. It was just really, really fun, especially, I'll say, at the Home Run Derby. All-Star Game was fun. Futures Game and Celebrity Softball Game were fun too, but the Home Run Derby was so much fun. And Julio Rodriguez, the Mariners player, there was a Mariners player in the Derby, and he had the most incredible first round of the Derby, like, ever. I mean, he broke a record for number of home runs in a single round, and the atmosphere in the stadium was incredible. It was amazing. It just the most fun I've had in a baseball stadium in a really long time, if not ever. It was so much fun. Just, like, it was electric, and yeah, it was so much fun. And that was on my birthday. I got to go to the Home Run Derby, and oh my gosh, it was so much fun. But otherwise, we had a really great time when my family was in town. We made a big brunch for my birthday as well. Made those lemon rolls that I really love, that I think I've talked about multiple times on here before. So we had a nice big brunch. And then after the Derby, we went and got ice cream, which was so yummy too. And it was just great to have family here. It was really fun. So yeah. We have been doing some grilling outside too. We did some grilling when they were here, but otherwise have been doing a lot of grilling outside too. Last night we made sourdough pizza. again, which is just a staple of ours, but we kind of seasonally will change the toppings. And we did like a summer pizza last night. We did one, I got the idea originally for this from Jess, my boss at La Mercerie. She did a pizza night for us and did a corn and goat cheese pizza that was so good. And I never would have thought to put corn on a pizza, but so delicious. So if you need a, I don't know, if you need a pizza topping, if you want to try something new, try putting corn on your pizza. So good. But we did one with corn, goat cheese, and like cherry tomatoes, and it was super tasty. So yeah, otherwise, that's pretty much it. I feel like we had some other fun stuff planned for the last like couple of days, and those have been affected by my illness. But yeah, we're looking forward to Flock is upcoming in just a couple of weeks. That's been a big thing that we've been working on. If you are unsure what I'm talking about, Flock Fiber Festival is happening in Seattle the first weekend of August, and the La Mercerie team, so La Mercerie is the yarn store that I work at, we are putting on this festival, and that is a lot of what my work time has been going toward recently. I've been doing a lot of preparation work for Flock Fiber Festival, and I'm getting so excited. It's coming up, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see all of you. A lot of you have messaged me and told me that you're coming, and I hope to get to see you. I think it's going to be a hectic weekend for me because as part of the team that is putting on the festival, there will be a lot of work to do, I think, over that weekend, but it's also going to be so much fun. The vendors that we have coming, and just generally everything that we have going on there for the festival. It's going to be so much fun getting to see everyone and the beautiful yarn and fiber and notions and everything. It's just going to be amazing. So yeah, I hope that I get to see some of you there, and I hope everything goes smoothly. Personally, I'm hoping for that as well. But otherwise, that's pretty much it. The weather has been good here in Seattle, so we've been spending a lot of time outside until, again, I got sick. Yeah, I am glad that I got a chance to sit down, and my voice at least somewhat cooperated, so I was able to sit down and do this. I am looking forward to fall knitting. Is anyone else looking forward to fall knitting? Like, I don't know, I feel like I've been really in the summer knitting mindset, and while I still have a lot more I want to do there, I think it's time to close the book and kind of look toward some fall projects. Like a couple of these sweaters, I kind of want to just put back on the needles right now and start knitting again. Like, and also, is this going to be way too big for me? I don't know. It's definitely going to be oversized, but hopefully in like a good way. Anyway, I feel like my brain is like, blah, blah, blah. I am doing the thing that I always do. My husband always points out that I do this when I'm on the phone with my family, with my dad especially, is like, I'll say like, okay, like, good to talk to you, I'll talk to you later, or whatever, and then I'll immediately bring something else up. It's like, okay, like, talk to you later, oh, by the way, blah, blah, blah. And, like, I think we both kind of do this and never end the phone call. And I think that I'm doing that to you all right now. Like, how many times, and I probably do this all the time, and some of you are probably watching this, and you're like, Emily, you do this every single time. You're like, it's time to go, I'm done, and then I say like 40 more things. But it is time to go. I don't think I have anything else to say. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, something could pop into my head right now. But I think I'm done. I am glad I got to catch up with you all and talk about what I've been working on, and hopefully I have more fun stuff to share soon. Maybe this will probably be my last one before Flock. Yeah, so maybe I'll have Flock stuff to share about next time. Who knows? But I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a great time, however long it is until I see you again. Bye.